Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're excited here for this webinar presentation, Franchising and You. We're going to discuss how you can utilize the strategy of franchising as a vehicle for your success. And we also have a special guest on the line, Rita McCabe from Sub-Zero Ice Cream in Nashua. She's going to give a little presentation as well and discuss the Sub-Zero opportunity up here in New England. Rita, you're there, right?
I'm here. Hi, everyone.
Hey, what's going on? Awesome. So we're going to go through this relatively quickly. We understand, people's time. We want to be respectful of that, but definitely if you have any questions, please type them into the chat box down there on the bottom right corner, and I'll be happy to address those at the end, whether it's a question about franchising or about Sub-Zero specifically. So get in real quick and talk about franchising. Start with a Webster dictionary of what a franchise is. So a franchise definition of a franchise is a special privilege granted to an individual or group or the right to exercise the powers of a corporation. So basically, it's one business, one brand who has an idea, and they're granting licenses to another individual or group or company to operate and sell those goods in a defined territory. If you turn to the International Franchise Association for their definition of a franchise, they call it a quintessentially American invention. And I really like that because really what franchising is it's people helping people in business. And once you hear Rita talk about her experience as a franchisee and how she wants to help others with their business, you really get that at its core. That's why I'm excited to have Rita here with us today. Franchising is a very dynamic and misunderstood part of our economy in many ways, and we're going to kind of dive into dispel a few of those rumors today, and hopefully you'll have a better understanding of what a franchise is, why it makes sense for a lot of people to use franchising as a strategy, and then also just the power of franchising in general. So just to take a look at what's going on in franchising today, there's over 3,100 brands across 80 different industries, whether you're talking about ice cream or frozen yogurt like we're going to talk about today, or health and fitness, or disaster restoration, handyman services, signage. I mean, really there's a franchise for everything, all different shapes and all different sizes. And why is there such a large wave going on in the franchising world today? Well, quite frankly, it's something that works. Every franchise starts with something that works. It's a company that's growing, has a proven practice, proven business model, a proven brand, and they're looking to expand into new communities. The biggest benefit, in my opinion, to joining a franchise system is that you have someone at franchise headquarters who's always constantly focused on improving and innovating your company. So as a business owner, and I've been there, I've owned independent restaurants and been managing single units, and your head's down and you're worried about making payroll next week. You're not really thinking about where your business is going to be in 10, 15, 20 years, and that's the job of a good franchisor. And with that growth, they have the ability to serve customers quickly and cost effectively, and they pass that down to unit level franchise operators for really streamlined processes. Great innovative ideas that make it successful and for a franchisee to be able to have a fast ramp up and then continued success ongoing if they're pushing that all the way down on a customer level. Another thing that's great about the franchise world is it's opening the doors for other people to join. Like I mentioned early on, it's people helping people in business. A lot of people don't have the type of mindset or the type of chutzpah, whatever you want to say, to do a startup and come up with their own brand, their own business model. They're looking for something that's a little bit more of a turnkey solution, and that's what a franchise can offer. Individuals and families can start their own small business with a franchise model and be able to get in business for themselves, but not by themselves, and really start to impact their local community and the neighborhoods where they live by creating other opportunities for others. So a franchise store like a Sub-Zero Ice Cream has to hire people, so you're creating jobs in your local market. You're training employees. Improving the way the neighborhood looks, and some of the employees, they go on and they end up buying a franchise. So it really creates a great network of opportunities throughout the whole community, and that's why the International Franchise Association has really, made it their mission to build local businesses one opportunity at a time. And just to take a quick little snapshot about how franchising does impact your local community, I took the state of New Hampshire, where Rita and I are located here, and kind of give you an example of the economic impact of franchising. So just here in the state of New Hampshire alone, franchising accounted for over 3,000, almost 3,100 businesses. They produce 27,000 jobs in the state of New Hampshire with an economic output of about 2.5 billion in sales. It's 1.1 billion worth of private sector payroll as well. And on a national standpoint, that's just huge numbers. 733,000 businesses, 7.6 million jobs, billions of dollars in economic output, which is about 2.5% of the U.S. GDP, and that was in 2016. So just huge numbers. You can get more information on that at ourfranchise.org. You can look at your specific state, look at New Hampshire, look at the whole nation, whatever you like. It's a really great information to understand the economic impact of franchising. So to kind of summarize things, why franchising? Why is it so prevalent today? Because it works. With a franchise, like I mentioned before, you get someone who cares just as much about your business as you do because they own it, and you have someone constantly working on your business as opposed to just in your business every single day. So if you're someone who wants to learn more about this and want to decide what your life looks like and if maybe this is the right vehicle to help you get there, definitely reach out. You can reach me anytime. My number is 978-891-7145. You can find me on the web, globalfranchise.com. Feel free to shoot me an email. So without further ado, we're going to get into the weeds a little bit and talk about a specific franchise model. Like I mentioned before, I'm honored to have an area developer here in New England, Rita McCabe, on the line, and she's going to take you through a little bit about the Sub-Zero franchising opportunity here in New England and what makes Sub-Zero a little bit different, and see if potentially you want to learn a little bit more. It might be the right fit for you, and we'd love to connect you with Rita. So Rita, you can go ahead and take it away.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. We're privileged to be on the call tonight and to share about Sub-Zero ice cream and the franchise opportunity that exists here. So, you go to the next slide. What is Sub-Zero ice cream? What is it all about? It's the future of ice cream. It's a patented process. It was featured on ABC's Shark Tank. It's a completely customized product. It's made fresh to order before your eyes, and it's very visual, so it's creating a very unique, fun experience. And it scientifically creates the smoothest, creamiest ice cream literally on the planet. You can't get any smoother. And one of the big things we're able to do is accommodate allergies, such as gluten allergies, nuts, lactose, dairy, egg, and we can accommodate dietary restrictions if people need a sugar-free options or they're vegan. And, of course, we've got the good old premium and custards out there. And there's literally millions and millions of flavor and mix-in combinations that we can create. So there's no other concept out there that can do all of that. So how does it do that? It uses the science of liquid nitrogen. And what's really cool about it is that it's created from base ingredients that you, the customer, get to choose while you're standing there. So you look at what the menu options are. You can go on and you can decide exactly what's going in your bowl. And it's really cool. We've got a commercial, basically, a little 30-second blurb on how this actually works as well that you can see on YouTube, and the link is right there. Well, let me just talk a little bit about the founders, Jerry and Naomi Hancock. They're out of Provo, Utah. And my husband and I found this opportunity because they were on Shark Tank back in 2013. And this is just one of the stories about them of many. But the franchise opportunity that we discovered is just really incredible, and we loved it so much that we decided to become the area developers for New England. So that's part of what we're doing right now, is trying to find franchisees that want to open up and around New England. And really, just recently, in June of 2017, there was actually a story in Entrepreneur magazine that listed the top frozen dessert franchises out there, and Sub-Zero is listed as 13. So it's been moving up in the ranks several years in a row now since we've been involved. And we also just released on Forbes.com, actually a couple days ago, Sub-Zero is listed as one of the 10 best franchises to buy from Shark Tank. So that's a cool story as well that you can go check out on Forbes.com. So the area, as I said, we're the area developers. This is a picture of Mark and I. We have won all sorts of awards since we started. So we opened up in 2014 here in Nashua, New Hampshire. We won the Best of Greater Nashua. We've been on WeddingWire.com Couples Choice Award 3 years in a row now. And we recently won the Best in New England Dessert Showcase down in Boston, which led to us being able to go down and sell on the 4th of July on the Esplanade in Boston. So that was a cool experience as well. And so basically, let's get into a little bit more detail. You can see that right now there's like 53 across the nation, and there's currently 13 more stores in build-out. And so they're opening up all over the place. Texas is really starting to build out. You can see Utah is, everybody in Utah knows what Sub-Zero ice cream is. And the cool part is when people come to New Hampshire, and they've been to Sub-Zero in Florida or California or Seattle, they see it and they're like, oh, wow, there's a Sub-Zero here. And so the brand awareness is really starting to grow nationally at this point, which is really key. So I just wanted to go through a little bit. There's some specifics in the FDD, the Franchise Disclosure Document, that should you be more interested in learning more, we would send to you so that you can get all the details. But I just wanted to put here some of the top average stores throughout the system. And you can see that the top 5, the average sales are over $500,000. And the top 10 is $464,000. So then we get into the percentages of top sales. So you can really do really well with a Sub-Zero franchise. The numbers are increasing every year as to gross sales, and so it's a climbing, it's a growing in this franchise in this industry. And the really cool part about it is there's multiple revenue streams. And so you see, like, you can get Italian ice at Richie's Italian Ice, right? You can go to Mr. Smoothie and get smoothies. Frozen custard's getting big. The cool part about it is, though, we offer all of those in one place under one roof. And we have in or out of store catering opportunities. We do lots of weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, corporate events, private parties, birthday parties, you name it, we can do it, any kind of event. And what that does is it gets us, we're not just waiting for people to walk into our shop, we get out into the community. And we also can do school science presentations, which also gets us out into the community a lot. And we work with the Scouts, we work with youth organizations. We get to teach the science of how all this works. And so people understand why it's a much, much better, smoother, ultra creamy product. And it's really the science behind it all. And getting out into the customers of the future, if you will, when they get their own license and start driving, we want them to come into Sub-Zero because they'll remember all the science and the fun that we had with them. And fundraising opportunities as well for nonprofits. We can do them in-store, we can do them out-of-store. And we like to be part of the community. It's a big part of what we do, and fundraising opportunities give us an opportunity to do that as well as build a brand.
Awesome, Rita. That's some great information. And, so some people have been typing some questions into the chat box there. I was going to kind of bring those up right now, and they seem to all be about Sub-Zero, so we'll let you kind of handle them. But the first question we have is, what's the typical timeline it takes to get a store open? So, kind of just give us a little timeline of what the process is. I guess even start with, the discovery process into, signing a franchise agreement. You obviously could speak to that better than I could. So, what's the typical timeline it takes?
Sure, absolutely. So, if you're interested, then what we do is we provide you with the FDD, which gives you a bunch of information, and then you can start asking questions of other franchisees. We call that validation calls. So we want you to have the opportunity to talk to other franchisees who are actually been in business and get details from them. There's also a corporate validation call. And Discovery Day, you come up to the store, we'll walk through operations with you, show you how it all works. We get to taste the product, of course, which is key.
And that happens in Nashua, or does that happen out in Utah?
Well, we'd start right here in Nashua first. That way there, it's actually a store you can walk into. And because you'll do like a corporate Discovery Day on the phone initially, once you get through so much of the process. And then ultimately, if you decide to sign on and become a franchisee, then training will actually take place out in Utah. It's like a 5-day training. That would be the initial training. And then there would be additional training here locally where we would actually go and we'll help you through the build-out process. Our job is to help you along the way, every step of the way, to make sure that, there's no hiccups and you needing to do exactly what needs to be done, and we get through it as quick as possible. So you really can, if all goes well, you can be open in 3 months soonest, anywhere to probably 6 months. Depends on the space you choose, how long it takes you to find a location, and that's key. You don't want to rush that because location is critically important. And then how long
you just kind of almost answered the next question. The next question was, what makes a good location for a Sub-Zero?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you say, location, location, location. You want to be in high traffic areas. You want to be where there's a lot of cars going by. You want good parking. Plazas kind of like they have grocery stores in them, or a Walmart, or something where there's a lot of people going in and out all the time, where they're going to see your brand often. So those are the kinds of locations that really seem to work well for Sub-Zero. Not a small plaza where there's only a couple other things in there. You want to be in a larger plaza, somewhere where there's good visibility from the street is awesome, so people driving by.
Here in New England, that's something that you and Mark would help with, right? They're not out on their own, kind of trying to figure out exactly where they. I mean, you guys would help them, right?
Absolutely. So not only are we helping them, but corporate has a real estate person who is in charge of basically helping all the franchisees to find the best locations. And so, even if we find a few locations that we think are really great, we have to run them by corporate and get their approval.
Great, awesome. We have another question here. It says, what percentage of a typical business's sales come from outside of the location? The outside catering, I guess they're referring to.
Sure, the outside catering can really be a big chunk of your business. And I've talked to other franchisees, and it can be anywhere from 30 to 50% of your business. For us,
Wow.
It's more closer to the 50% range, yeah. And it's a great opportunity to get out into your community. It's a great revenue stream, and it's a big piece of what we do.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I think that's one of the best things about Sub-Zero. Quick little side story. I'm not going to bore everyone here, but the first time I actually met Rita, she made me ice cream in a parking lot, which was really cool. So another question here. It says, how fast can you serve a typical customer? That's a good question. Yeah, how quickly can you serve customers? How fast do you make the ice cream?
Ideally, we could get people through. We can make an ice cream every 30 seconds. It does not take long to make the actual ice cream. What takes the time is people figuring out what they want, because you got literally, tons of combinations that you can choose from. And so, especially a first-time person that comes in, they kind of get overwhelmed because they got to pick their cream, their flavors, their mix-ins. And then what we would do is we would kind of direct them towards like our sensation board, which is pre-recipeed. So, but as far as putting the whole thing together and freezing it, literally, I like to quote like a minute or a minute and a half per person, because I think that's start to finish decision-making process. The whole thing is really basically a good time frame. So you figure you got a family of 4 or 5 that come in. Again, we're not just what do you want? You know what I mean? We're engaging the customer. We're finding out if there's any allergies. We're giving them instructions and directions and guidance as to what might go good to with each other as far as flavors and mix-ins and things. And people engage us. They got questions as we're making it as to what's going on too. So it's not your typical give me a vanilla soft serve. There's more to it than that.
Yeah, you're creating that customer experience, which gets them coming back. And, obviously your employees are key to make sure they're communicating that down to the customer service level. And that's the next question here is asked, actually, how many employees does a typical store have?
So typically, and I've talked to other franchisees as well, typically people have somewhere between 15 and 20 employees. And they're all, high school and college kids, part-time, because kids have crazy schedules, and you got to be able to not only man the store, but you got to be able to handle the catering events as well. So you need a big enough pool of people to pull from. And we make sure that our employees are trained not only in store operations, customer service is key, but also in how to do the catering. I have a couple of employees that can also go do the school science presentations as well. So you need to have really good key employees that have that interactive ability. They've got good personalities, because it's just more than scooping an ice cream out of a bucket, you know, or squirting out of a machine. It's the interaction that really makes the experience really awesome, and people become a flavor artist, if you will. This is something that we like to say, you know. You're creating, you're being creative with what you're ultimately eating.
Absolutely, that sounds pretty cool. So that's about all the time we have there. But if you're interested in, you know, in learning more about Sub-Zero, and you want to help help other people become flavor artists, you help reinvent the way we're eating ice cream here in New England, don't hesitate to reach out to Rita McCabe, Sub-Zero Nashua, nh@aol.com. You can also, you know, reach her. Why don't you give them your contact info, Rita? Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Why don't you go ahead and give them your contact info? I don't know why I'm reading it. You tell them how they can do it.
No, that's cool. You can reach me by phone, 603-327-9694, or like email is the best way to do it, Sub-Zero Nashua nh@aol.com. And you can also feel free to go check out our website at subzeroicecream.com/Nashua, New Hampshire, spelled out. And it's going to have a lot of great photos there that we put up from our specific catering events that we've done at weddings or school science presentations. And it really gives you a great idea of how this whole thing works. If you go to just the corporate website, subzeroicecream.com, and About Us, there's a bunch of great videos on there too that I suggest you go look, including the Shark Tank episode. So that's kind of interesting to watch too.
Awesome. All right. Well, Rita, thank you very much for taking the time to share that with our audience. And if anyone has any more questions about Sub-Zero or just franchising in general, definitely give me a call, 978-891-7145, or reach out to Rita, or check us out on the web. My website's globalfranchisesolutions.com or subzeroicecream.com/Nashua, New Hampshire. All right. Thanks a lot, Rita. Have a great evening.
All right. Take care, everybody.